Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Is woke She-Hulk canceled? Because it looks like there's not going to be a season 2. Even the Star is making comments that make it seem like there's not going to be a season 2. There's an article on this, and I will tell you, this just came out to me today. It's a rumor. It's not conclusive. However, Disney is starting to pull back on a lot of what they're doing for Disney Plus, and even the features. They can't get Blade out. They lost the director, so that's far pushed back. They pushed back 3 other movies that were Marvel related, but they pushed back other movies in addition to that. Yeah, but what's targeted around Marvel is a big deal because everything's kind of coming out of Feige's office. He's responsible for everything. It's pretty clear that they were burning bridges at the end, especially at the end of the She-Hulk first season. She-Hulk creators call the show an FU to tired and unoriginal MCU trolls. I mean, you just don't do this. You don't do this if you know you're not going to have a second season. It's like 80 to 90% chance, like, yeah, okay, that's the kind of people that do this. But even when they commit to doing a second season, they have to commit to spending a bunch of money. But it's not only that. You know, there's the whole Marvel universe, the whole continuity system of a universe, which is, I've published my own comics that were in a universe. We did about 50 issues. There was a lot of continuity tie-ins and dates and characters that interacted with each other. It's very complicated. But the power of the universe is if it's going well and things are successful, then maybe you pick up one of the other series that you're not that interested in because it's part of the larger story. So you have interrelated characters, crossover stories, things like that, but you want to kind of know what's going on with everything if you're interested in the universe. So they really can't afford to have a major failure in the Marvel universe. And they've already had some problems. She-Hulk did not get reviewed well. And even if this was done like, you know, tongue-in-cheek or whatever, no, they actually did mean this. You can't really do this because there's a lot of people that get offended along the way, you know, who are viewers, who are also management, production people, investors. They have a new board of directors member. This is just not really something that you can do unless you know there isn't a future to the series. So again, this is rumor. I do want to get into the article. Before we do, please do subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. It's a huge help. The channel's been doing great. Really do appreciate you guys. Okay, She-Hulk star casts doubt on season 2. No doubt to the delight of trolls everywhere. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be good to hear, happy to hear, and going to think it's good news that there is no season 2 coming for She-Hulk. I mean, they could still do it. You know, doing what they did with She-Hulk was really throwing good money after bad. This was not expanding any audience. Apparently, the reason they did it, oh my God, but the reason they did it was they want characters that have different behaviors and have different social standing and actions and things. So the idea of having an attorney show and it's sort of a show for women, but it leverages off the Marvel brand. So it's a superhero show, but it's not really. This is something they thought they could gain audience from. I don't have a problem with the idea of them saying, all right, you know something, let's try and do this. Now, the execution was terrible for many reasons. I did a video about this. Woke She-Hulk destroyed. This was a month ago, whatever it was. And I talked about just all kinds of problems with She-Hulk. The number one problem with She-Hulk is you can't make someone a superhero and then not have them be heroic. And the reason you can't do that is it makes them a villain. Because the purpose of being a hero, much less a superhero, is to serve your social community, is to serve your social set. So, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man, prior to becoming the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, was out for himself, making money, doing publicity, doing wrestling matches and making money off of that, and getting a lot of fame and just having a great old time, but not taking care of his neighborhood, such when the robber came and Spider-Man could have caught him, but decided not to because he said, hey, it's not my problem. Don't make me do things I don't feel like doing. And he didn't have that sense of purpose and humility to him to serve the community with his talents. That's where his Uncle Ben died. So that could have turned Spider-Man into a villain. Spider-Man would be a villain if he didn't go and then say and learn from his mistake and then go and take on villains and protect people and do all the things that a hero does. But when you say, no, I'm going to stay selfish no matter what and just use my powers to better my situation, you're a villain. That's the problem. And that's actually the thrust of my whole video with this. But anyway, yes, I don't know if it makes you a troll if you don't like She-Hulk automatically. But okay, I guess I'm a troll. Phase 4 has proven to be the most polarizing stage of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by far, but the ongoing battle between critics, fans, and the key creatives involved in She-Hulk Attorney at Law certainly takes some beating. The half-hour legal comedy was the subject of a review bombing campaign before it even began. Well, everything they put out about the show was not good. It had nothing to do with the character being female, nothing to do with the character being a lawyer, right? I mean, no problem with Daredevil. Did we ever have a problem with Daredevil being a lawyer? We don't like lawyers, especially if they can't see. Like, no, there's never been an issue with that. Did we have problems with Elektra? I don't remember having problems with Elektra. No. I mean, the movie wasn't good. We were happy to have the movie. But this is the first female superhero character that we've seen. Well, that's not fair to say. I guess there was also Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. Okay, you got to clean that one up. But as far as anyone, trolling the character and saying like, oh, this looks like crap, we're not interested in this, it looks terrible, why are you even bothering? She-Hulk attracted this. And as they say, like, they literally like designed a lot of the episodes of the shows to try to battle with critics of the show. I don't know why they did that. That's not what, if it's a comedy legal show, that has nothing to do with anything. Now, She-Hulk did break the fourth wall in the comics. It was done well. It was fun. It was lighthearted. It was interesting. It was very successful. John Byrne's She-Hulk run. It was good. Actually, I was looking at that as a reference because I'm designing a female superhero. It's coming along well. I'll have stuff to show you guys actually just within the next few weeks probably. But just from the sake of how dynamic it is and how interesting it is, and it's lighthearted, it just really is well done. I don't believe in breaking the fourth wall, but for my comics, but nothing wrong with it. The half-hour legal comedy. The half-hour legal comedy was the subject of review bombing, supposedly. No, it really wasn't. To add more fuel to the fire, Tatiana Maslany and showrunner Jessica Gao admitted that many of the storylines were deliberately designed to be an FU to the tired and unoriginal trolls. What do you mean original? What do you want in your criticism? People either like it or they don't. You don't get a trophy or a participation prize for just working on a TV show and then doing whatever you feel like doing, and also not doing their homework. I happen to like law. I do find it fascinating. It's a hobby. And also I get involved in contracts or some of the things I do. And I find legal stuff, when it's correct, to be good. It's interesting content to watch. There are interesting conversations about it. This is the fabric of social society. Law is interesting. But the way they handled it in the show, that Gao, the showrunner, was saying, oh yeah, we didn't really have legal consultants. Like, well, that's not a big budget item. There are plenty of people that consult to these legal shows to make sure that you have elements that are like interesting and accurate. It adds so much texture to your content when it's actually like realistic and it's part of like reality. They could have done that easily and they just chose not to because everything was supposed to be self-indulgent for them. And I guess on a level they realized, we're going to get a lot of backlash for this. But then again, they pick up this toxic trolls trope and just decide that anyone is poisonous if they don't love whatever comes off the top of their head. So, all right, here she goes. Maslany, quote, about the show with an interview with Extra. Quote, I mean, I don't think so yet. Kevin in the scene seems to be very dismissive of this idea, so if we're basing this off the real Kevin, it doesn't seem likely. But he was also, I think, just trying to get rid of Jen because she was asking too many questions. I don't know. I could be coy, and I have some little secret. I would do that, but I really don't. I don't know anything. Okay. She seems to be very together. Loki remains the first and only live-action MCU series so far to be given the okay for a second season, and we've got no clue as to how the top brass at Marvel decide which streaming exclusives are worthy of another batch of adventures. I know how, because Kareem Daniel, the head of distribution, all of distribution for the entire Disney company, all their brands, all of their inventory, all their TV, all their films, Kareem Daniels was asked, well, are you going to cancel any shows? It seems like some shows are not getting as popular as you would hope they would have been. And Kareem said, oh, well, we're just making a lot of really fantastic things right now, and we don't really think about canceling anything now. And it all winds up in our inventory. We all have this big library. We just keep putting more in the library. So we don't really even think about canceling. Which is, if you're going to do stuff, you're not necessarily going to, tell people in an interview. But just his answering of that question and a couple of others, it looked, very amateurish. It made no sense. So they don't know what they're doing. Recently, Armor Wars, the series that was with Don Cheadle that was supposed to start filming like first or second quarter of 2023, was canceled. It was supposed to be a 6-episode run for Disney Plus. And notice 6, not 9. Like She-Hulk was 9, 6. So they're cutting back and cutting back and cutting back. Well, Hollywood Reporter did an article a few weeks ago saying, oh, well, we're shaking up Armor Wars over at Marvel. What do you mean shaking up? So like, oh, well, they decided that they would just have the same TV screenwriter and take Don Cheadle and just turn it into a film instead of making it a 6-issue or episode series, as if that's a normal thing. To then just say like, we're gonna take this TV production and all the pre-production we've done, we're gonna cancel it, but we're gonna let the TV writer just write a screenplay for whatever, a $200 million movie, and it's taken as serious. Like, no, of course they're not doing it. They're stopping it. They're cutting back because they know like they really can't afford to have a lot of failures. Now financially, they can afford a lot. Disney has a lot of money still. They do have debt. It's very under control. They have a lot of cash coming in, especially from the theme parks. They can afford to lose some money, but they really can't afford to continue to brutalize the Marvel brand. And She-Hulk was a big disappointment for them. They really can't have a lot of these series failing. So that's where you see Werewolf by Night, well received. And, standalone projects, so they can just budget for that one-time project. Even this She-Hulk would have been successful if it was just like 1 hour and a half wacky episode. People would still be like, all right, well, whatever. It's part of the universe. I'll check it out. It's when they do so much of it, so many episodes of it, and it never comes together. And then they start attacking fans. It falls apart. So there was another article in a website called The Direct. I did a video about that as well. It was talking about how Marvel is now supposedly talking about doing more of these standalone Werewolf by Night type of projects, maybe 90 minutes or an hour or something like that, to deal with introducing more characters from the universe and testing out a concept. That makes sense. That's fine. And if they do a bad job on it, they do a bad job on it. But to have this series coming out and every week and they're fighting with fans and they have the She-Hulk Twitter account attacking people, just completely ridiculous. Are they going to continue this? Honestly, of course, I really don't know. I can't imagine that they would do a second series of this, a second season of this. I mean, definitely tell me what you think in the comments below, but I don't see how they could do it. Fans would be thrilled were Moonlight, Ms. Marvel, and Hawkeye to be renewed, but a cursory glance at the internet makes it clear that She-Hulk may not be greeted with the similar levels of enthusiasm. Yeah, I think this thing is dead. I think it's safe that it's dead. I think she'll pop up in other people's shows. Maybe she pops up in a movie somewhere. It's possible. But I think it's relatively safe to say that's probably it for She-Hulk. I don't know if you liked the show. If you did, that's great. But a lot of us were very disappointed with all the self-indulgent stuff that the writers did that just didn't come together and ever make sense. And to have a superhero and have the hero never actually be heroic or even try really to be heroic or responsible with their powers is, you can't have that. It's not good. It's not a hero. It's a villain. All right. Please do be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. And I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.